The truth about my wife, that no one knows. Some stories are meant to be told. Others, they stay buried, hidden behind smiles, locked away in the depths of a person's past. And my wife, she carries a truth that no one else knows. Not my family, not my closest friends, not the world that only sees the surface of who she is. But I know. And today, for the first time, I am ready to reveal it. She was not who I thought she was when I met her. She was everything I ever wanted. Kind, intelligent, beautiful in a way that wasn't just about appearance. It was something deeper, something rare. She made me feel like I had finally found my place in the world. But there was something she never spoke about, a part of her that remained closed off, just beyond my reach. At first, I didn't question it. We all have things we don't share, pieces of our past that we keep locked away. But as time went on, I started noticing the little things, the way her smile sometimes didn't reach her eyes, the way she would stare into the distance, lost in thoughts she wouldn't explain, the way she flinched at certain words, as if they carried memories she wasn't ready to relive. I told myself that when she was ready, she would tell me. I just never expected the truth to change everything. She had a life before me that no one knew about. One night, I found her sitting alone, staring at an old photograph. Her fingers trembled as she held it, her breathing uneven. I had never seen her like that before. "What's wrong?" I asked gently. For a moment she hesitated, as if deciding whether to finally let me in. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, she said, "There's something you don't know about me." And in that moment, I knew whatever she was about to say would change the way I saw her forever. Her voice was unsteady, as if the weight of her own words was too much to carry. I had never seen fear in her eyes before. Not like this, not the kind of fear that comes from something you can escape, but the kind that has followed you for years, refusing to let go. I sat beside her, my heart pounding. "Tell me," I said softly. "Whatever it is, I want to know." She exhaled, her fingers gripping the edges of the old photograph, as if it were the only thing keeping her grounded. And then she finally spoke. "Before I met you, I had another life." Her words sent a chill through me. "Another life." I stayed silent, letting her continue, though my mind was already racing with possibilities. "I wasn't always the woman you know," she admitted. "The person I used to be, she doesn't exist anymore. At least, that's what I tell myself." I searched her face, trying to understand. She looked away, her gaze distant, lost in memories I hadn't been a part of. "I had to leave everything behind," she whispered. "Because if I hadn't, I wouldn't be here today." My chest tightened, there was pain in her voice. A deep, aching kind of pain that doesn't fade with time. And for the first time, I realized the woman I married, the woman I thought I knew better than anyone. She had been hiding a truth so heavy, so dark, that she had spent years trying to outrun it. I changed my name to erase who I was. Her voice barely carried through the room, but it was enough to make my entire world tilt. I stared at her, waiting, needing her to explain. She swallowed hard, finally turning to meet my eyes. "The name you call me, it's not the name I was born with." 1,000 thoughts flooded my mind, but I held on to one. Why would she erase her past? Why would she need to become someone else? And most importantly, who had she been before she became my wife? Her words hung in the air like a weight pressing down on my chest. "The name you call me, it's not the name I was born with." I could feel my heartbeat in my ears. The silence between us stretching too long. She had always been a mystery in small ways, little things I never questioned before. But now I was starting to see what I had ignored. This wasn't just a painful memory. This was a past she had erased, and I had no idea why. "Then who were you?" The words left my lips before I could stop them. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she placed the old photograph on the table between us. I hesitated before picking it up, and when I did, my breath caught in my throat. The woman in the picture looked like her, almost identical, but not quite. Her hair was different, her posture, even her eyes carried something I had never seen in my wife, a kind of emptiness that made my stomach turn. "That was me," she said quietly, "before I became the person you know now." She had walked away from a life I knew nothing about. I looked at her again, really looked at her. The way her fingers trembled slightly, the way her lips pressed together, as if holding back words she wasn't ready to say. "What happened to her?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She closed her eyes for a moment before exhaling. "She died." The air in my lungs froze. She wasn't speaking about death in the literal sense. She meant something else. That version of her, the one in the picture, was gone, buried under whatever truth she had been running from. And now I had to decide. Did I want to know what had killed the woman she used to be, or was some truth better left unknown? She sat there staring at the photograph like it held a piece of her soul. She had long abandoned. I could hear her breathing, steady but heavy, like she was carrying a weight that had been buried for too long. And I was afraid to ask, afraid of what she might say, afraid of the truth I wasn't sure I was ready to hear. But I had come too far to turn back now. "Tell me everything." My voice was softer than I expected, but firm. She hesitated, fingers tightening around the edge of the table. Then finally she spoke. "I used to be someone else." I waited, not rushing her. She took a deep breath, her eyes distant, lost in a past I had never been a part of. "My name wasn't what you know it as now. My life wasn't what it is today. I had another identity, another story, one that I had to leave behind." Her words sent a shiver down my spine. "Why?" I asked. "What happened?" She looked at me then, her expression unreadable, and what she said next changed everything. "Because the person I used to be wasn't supposed to survive." I felt my stomach drop. "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She exhaled sharply, shaking her head. "I had to disappear," she murmured. "For my own safety." She was running from a past that could destroy us. Both my mind raced with questions, but none of them formed into words. All I could do was stare at her, realizing that the woman I had built a life with had been living in the shadows of a truth I had never even glimpsed. "What were you running from?" I finally asked. Her lips parted, as if she was going to tell me. Then she stopped. Her hands curled into fists, and for the first time I saw something in her eyes that sent a chill through me. Not sadness, not regret, fear. And in that moment, I knew whatever she had escaped from, whatever truth she had buried, it wasn't finished yet. The room felt colder than before. Or maybe it was just the way she looked at me. Like she was somewhere else entirely. Like she wasn't sitting across from me anymore. But back in the past, she had tried so hard to erase. I wanted to reach for her. To tell her that whatever it was, she didn't have to face it alone. But I knew better. Some ghosts don't disappear just because you say their name. Some truths cut deeper when spoken aloud. And yet I couldn't stop myself from asking, "Are you still in danger?" Her breath hitched. She hesitated for just a second, just long enough for me to know the answer before she said it. "I don't know." A shiver ran through me, because "I don't know" wasn't a no. It wasn't reassurance. It wasn't safety. It meant that whatever she had run from, whatever she had buried, it wasn't truly gone. And now, without realizing it, I had stepped into her past, into a story that wasn't finished, into something that could still reach her, that could still reach us. "Tell me everything." She stared at me for a long moment, as if deciding whether to finally let me in. Then she whispered, "I don't even know where to start." I swallowed hard. "Start with the truth." She nodded slowly, pressing her fingers against her temples, as if trying to piece together the right words. Then, at last, she spoke. Before I met you, I belonged to a life I never chose. I didn't blink, didn't breathe. What kind of life? I asked, barely recognizing my own voice. She exhaled sharply. A dangerous one. A cold weight settled in my chest. I had known there was something she wasn't telling me, but I never imagined this, and deep down, I had a feeling that whatever she was about to reveal, it would change everything. A dangerous life. Those were her words. And yet she sat before me now, calm, composed, as if she hadn't just shattered everything I thought I knew about her. I should have been prepared for this, for the weight of whatever truth she was about to drop between us. But nothing could have prepared me for what came next. She took a slow, steady breath, her fingers tracing the edge of the photograph she had placed between us. Then she looked at me, and for the first time I saw it. The part of her she had been hiding all this time. I wasn't supposed to get out alive. Her voice was low, almost distant, as if she was speaking about someone else. But I knew she wasn't. She was speaking about the woman she used to be, the woman who had vanished before she became my wife. I was part of something, she continued. Something bigger than me. Something I didn't sign up for, but once I was in, there was no way out. My pulse pounded in my ears. What do you mean? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She looked away for a moment, exhaling slowly. Then, I was married before. The air left my lungs. It felt like the ground beneath me had shifted. Married, I opened my mouth, but no words came. She nodded, as if she had been expecting my reaction. I had a husband, she admitted, but it wasn't the kind of marriage people dream about. It wasn't love. It wasn't a choice. Her hands clenched into fists, the pain flickering in her eyes. I was trapped. I swallowed hard. She had never mentioned this before, not once. And now the truth was unraveling before me. The truth about the life she had run from. The truth about why she had changed her name. The truth about why she had never looked back. I had to disappear to survive. My breath caught in my throat, because suddenly I understood. She hadn't just left behind a name. She had left behind a past that could still find her. A past that could still take her away from me. And now I wasn't just her husband. I was part of the secret she had buried. And I had no idea what that meant for either of us.